Happy Arvo. Thank you so much for joining me today. What should we talk about, guys? The kids are all gone. It's just the adults in the room now on this channel. That's actually kind of interesting. I hadn't really thought about that exactly. Like, we'll see how many less views I get now that all the kids are banned. How about we talk about what the kids are talking about? I'm curious to see. I found some TikToks. You know, I mean, the ban went into place, of course. You guys obviously know that. A couple days ago. So I'm curious to see what the kids are saying about it. Unfortunately, you can't see what they're saying on the internet because they can't type it on the internet. Actually, I think there's a bunch of ways that they're like getting around the ban and stuff. I don't know. There's all sorts of different angles to look at this from. I'm obviously interested in the subject. I just want to kind of see how it's going and stuff like that. Let's do it. I found some TikToks. I just want an assortment of different, you know, things about how the ban is going. Let's see. They're all linked down below, by the way.
B-Day, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty scared because
Pretty scared.
it's just you don't know when you're going to get kicked off.
When you woke up this morning and opened social media, what did you actually see?
Nothing. There was like no alerts, no anything. There was no notifications.
It was just normal.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
So this is meant to be the first day
Well, what the fuck?
where none of you have access to social media.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you all still do.
Yeah.
We do.
How have you guys been able to get around
They're kind of like nervous to say it. We probably shouldn't be saying this, but yeah, our accounts are fully functioning.
the system?
Snapchat, I just scanned my face and it worked. So it allowed me
What?
still on the app.
I didn't get any
Like
verification.
it scans your face to try to guess how old you are. First of all, that's weird, and obviously, how that can't work. What if you're 17 and it says you're 16? What if you're 14 and it says you're 20? That obviously doesn't make much sense.
It's like nothing popped up on Snapchat or TikTok or anything. So, yeah, I haven't done anything for it, but I'm still in my account, so.
Yeah, I just used my face and it worked, so.
It's so ridiculous. I mean, like, if you just crop in on her face, how is the stupid app supposed to be like, is this girl 17 or 15? It's kind of absurd.
It's easy.
Are you worried about what might happen next? Are you worried about maybe getting caught?
Yeah.
Maybe don't talk about it on national TV. That's what they're all thinking. Oh, maybe we should have done that. All right, that was actually already interesting.
Everyone's going to find a way around really easily.
How?
Just do other people's IDs, although that does have to match with your date of birth and name. Just VPN.
It's more tricky for websites like Facebook or like where you actually want to use your real identity. If you're trying to just get on Snapchat or YouTube, where you don't care if your profile says, you know, your name and who you are, then that probably makes it way easier to fake.
Just getting your parents to do it for you and anything.
I think that the ban is good that like social media is banned, but there's ways to get around it and they could have gotten around it a better way. Like they should have put restrictions, like you can't post and you can't comment or subscribe and you can just view things, or put restrictions on certain videos.
There's a loss of social interactions, especially when you're like
Not a bad idea.
meeting new people, and
It's not a bad idea because a lot of the websites still work, even if you're logged out. You know, like YouTube. They can still go on YouTube. They just have to watch it logged out.
meeting new people and trying to communicate with your friends, because I know a lot of people nowadays use social media to interact, so it's definitely got its positives and negatives.
I've been on social media since I was about 10 years old, so I've definitely grown up on it, and it's how I've developed a lot of social connection. but I feel like for younger ages, it would be like a big improvement.
Yeah, everyone's going to find a
That's an interesting... It is interesting that they didn't grandfather anybody into it, you know? I'm still, like, very torn on the ban. I really don't know how I feel. I mean, on this type of thing in general, I'm very skeptical of it in general, you know? But I do see the allure of it. I see the benefits. Easily. I easily see the benefits, you know? Social media is obviously toxic, even for adults, so... Not letting kids on it, I mean... I understand. And it seems like you guys might be really leading the way on this. This is headline news, by the way. This is top headline news here in America. That Australia has banned, you know, social media for under 16. So yeah, it's big world news that you guys did this. And a lot of people are saying you're the first of many. You've inspired many. So we'll see where that goes.
Australia is banning social media for teenagers under the age of 16. We're in Sydney to talk to young people about what they think. How much did you use social media when you were younger?
When I was younger? Probably not a lot.
Like a good amount.
Quite a bit, I'd say.
To be honest, not a whole lot.
Quite a lot, actually. My daily average is 8 hours. You get stuck on it for hours and hours. It genuinely rots your brain.
Just like validation from my peers as a teenager through Instagram, just with TikTok, just mindlessly scrolling.
And do you think you could have gone without social media as a teenager?
Probably.
I think probably like the early stage of high school probably would have been better.
My confidence would have been better.
I mean, you'd have a hard time prying it out of my cold dead hands when I was 15.
I mean, I grew up in a time before social media, right before, like as it was being made, actually. So I do have a perspective on, like, I do understand what they're talking about, and I think they're right, you know? For the most part, they're right. Like, back in the day, kids were more so kids, you know? They weren't growing up on Instagram and shit and, like, trying to be, like, models and looking up how to perfectly do their hair and dress and try to look way older than they are, you know? And also, they just didn't have that weird aspect of life now, especially as a kid, where it's like anytime, it seems like a lot of times they're having fun, one of their first thoughts is, oh, we need to film this for social media so everybody else knows how much fun we're having, you know? Instead of just living in the moment, genuinely having fun, which has all sorts of weird ramifications. And it can't be good. I don't think it's good.
But I think I would have been better for it, to be honest.
And would you support the ban?
Yes, I do.
I definitely do.
I don't really support it. I feel like they should just keep the age restriction like how it is instead of just banning it.
Would have a ban for 13, 14-year-olds and 15, 16s are fine.
It'd be better to have a ban on social media and have more exposure to what children are supposed to usually have, you know, more outdoor time.
There needs to be some regulation on it, and I'm like so glad that there is, because I wish there was when I was a teen. I mean, it's not that far off, but yeah.
Wow. That's quite telling, the fact that people... It is interesting that people who did grow up, so like the people who are younger than me, but old enough now that they're adults, and they grew up with all this social media bullshit, that a lot of them are like, yeah, it should have been banned. Like, I should not have had access to that. It rotted my brain. You know, that's the most compelling argument right there, is when people like that say it. It's not as interesting when it's like other people who never did grow up with social media. Like, I mean, for example, me, like I just said, it was kind of weird. Like, I just happened to grow up right as it was being developed. You know, like I think I was 16 when Facebook was invented or created. You know? So, it was around there. And at first it was only for college kids, so I couldn't even use it. I didn't want to use it either.
How we communicate to the world. This is how we do it. It's the modern day. It's social media.
That's the most compelling counter-argument. I think that kid does have a point. I don't know if it's a good enough point, but it's a point.
Taking away how we communicate to the world, this is how we do it. It's the modern day.
Like,
social media.
you can make the argument, and it's a coherent argument to say this is the future and you're trying to bring us back in time. You know, it's a new era, and yes, it's different, but we can't go back. You know, we don't want to be cavemen compared to the rest of the world, you know. Like, I hear the argument. It's interesting.
Wednesday, Australia will enforce a world-first law banning children under 16 from many of the biggest platforms.
I just don't see very many downfalls from it. So the only thing that I've heard that did make me feel like, oh, that hurts, is for the kids who happen to be like 14 or 15 or 16 who have popular YouTube channels. Like, they made a YouTube channel. You know, that's totally different. At that point, it's not rotting your brain. You're actually using it to create something. And especially if it's, like, succeeding. To have that taken away from you like that, I know that hurts some kids. Yeah. It's the minority, you know, but there's a big distinction between the people rotting their brain on social media and the people who may be making actually good content for social media and succeeding at it as a young person. I almost feel like there should be an exception for them. But I don't know how you do that. That would be weird.
Freedom advocacy group Macy and Noah's case asserts a right to political communication. The High Court has agreed to hear it next year.
We will lose connections, but we will lose our democracy. This law is saying that democracy begins at 16, which is condescending and it's incorrect.
Listen, there are definitely negatives on social media. I'm not denying that. I completely agree. We're saying that getting rid of the kids is not the solution. We didn't do anything wrong.
The government says it has acted to protect children.
And there are these powerful, harmful...
Sometimes, despite not doing anything wrong, you know, that argument doesn't really fly, in my opinion.
Deceptive design features.
It's like saying, why can't we drink alcohol? We didn't do anything wrong. You know, it's like, well, it's still bad for you.
That even
That's why.
Adults are powerless to fight against, like autoplay and endless scroll and snap streaks. So what chance do our children have?
The government's ban is a catch-all. If you're under the age of 16, you're off social...
So 16-year-olds can use social media. It's under 16. Okay. All right. Okay.
Social media. But children are all different. They've engaged...
Actually seems like a reasonable age. You know, as far as the age you guys chose, I kind of like it. You know, if it had been 18, that might have been a little bit much. But, you know, it's like, okay, you're going into high school, or you're in high school. Time to start learning the tools. They might rot your brain, but, you know, you're going to use them as an adult. And so it's time to start learning, you know, that. And you're going to be out of high school soon. So you're going to want to, you know, have these social connections online. I just like the age. I think 16 is correct. It's a good age.
With social media differently, and they feel differently about the ban.
Nick and I were talking before about how if we could, we would delete Snapchat today. But it's more the fact that because there's now so much reliability and connection based off one app, you don't want to delete it.
Under the new law, young social media users won't be punished for being on age-restricted apps, nor will their parents. Instead, Australia is requiring tech companies to take reasonable steps to keep under 16s off their platforms and threatening fines in the tens of millions of dollars.
Yep. Okay. Now this is parents. I think they said it was parents reacting to the ban. So let's hear that.
Kids always get around.
Sorry.
How is the government going to police?
God damn, that was so loud. Sorry.
How is the government going to police this?
Kids always get
How are they going to police it? Yeah, that's a whole subject in itself. Because there's privacy concerns, obviously, with that type of thing.
around rules, but I'd rather have something to do with.
The audio on this sucks.
We're here in Sydney talking to Australians about how the social media ban for under 16s is going to impact the kids in their lives. Do you have kids? What do you think about this ban?
So I've got 2 kids.
3 kids. The oldest has just turned 13.
Youngest grandchild is 14.
I'm for the ban. I think it's a good idea.
I'm for it.
Personally, I'm against it.
Oh, I think it's
What did he say?
I'm against it.
Good idea.
I'm for it.
Personally, I'm against it.
I think it's fantastic.
Personally, I'm against it. Okay.
Social media, I think, is very, very damaging to young minds.
All these social media platforms, kids don't get an escape. When we were younger, you just take the phone off the hook, but your parents always fiddle with your phone.
Do you think this is going to work?
Kids will always try and get around it.
If I got a problem with my mobile, I'll go to a 12-year-old and they'll fix it. So they can get through anything.
On one hand, I think he's right. The kids are very clever at that age, and they will find ways to get around this. But with that said, it doesn't mean, just because kids might be able to sneak alcohol doesn't mean you lower the drinking age to 12. Just because some 13-year-olds might be able to sneak into the cupboard and sneak a shot of vodka, it doesn't mean that you legalize it for them. But yes, it is true. It's going to be so hard to enforce. But even if it's not perfectly enforced, it undoubtedly will surely lower the amount of time spent on social media by under 16-year-olds, right? So at least there's that win, right? Even if it's not perfect.
It's going to take them very long to either put a VPN on their phone or figure out a way around the social media ban.
I think just as parents, we've got to be aware that there are going to be ways that they're going to try and do it.
What do you hope that this could achieve? I hope it gets kids off their phones and back outside.
Hoping that the child suicide rates go down.
I hope that it gives kids a bit more time to be at that stage of life where they don't have these worries. There's a bit more interaction face to face with the kids.
All right. That was some terrible audio on that one, but that was an interesting thing because they were talking to the parents. Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm super curious to see how it evolves, if it's considered a success, and if other countries copy it. In fact, I think some U.S. states are already introducing some laws and stuff that are inspired by this. So that's very interesting. Very interesting. Very bold move, honestly, and could really be leading the world in that way. All right. Well, thank you to all the adults that watched this video. That sounds weird when I say that. I'm going to stop saying that. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for being you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.